Welcome to Why Your Business is Invisible Online, the podcast that connects businesses online with the people they want to serve. Joining me are my two co-hosts, and here they are.
I'm Jim Filatico. When I'm not helping my clients grow their businesses online, you can find me traveling with friends and family.
Hi, I'm Kelly Biggs, and I'm the AT alien of the group. I love hanging with friends and family, and when I'm not doing that, you can find me on Peloton. I've clocked over 2,000 rides so far.
And I'm your host, John Manatas from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, with my guitar in hand, my Wi-Fi on life support, but always in tune with my clients. So yeah, we want to continue on exhausting the whole topic of, websites and all the things that can go wrong that can hurt you, not only in terms of being found, but in terms of once you are found, they have to be in a state that's going to help us later on so that these businesses are successful. So we know that has to have a flow, it has to have a nice design. Otherwise, if people see an ugly website right out of the gate, they leave. They bounce right away. So right. We do have to design for aesthetics first and then go back.
It's that 3-second thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that for sure. The this was a luxury menswear website, and it was going to have a heavy e-commerce component too. The interesting thing about this particular, and I agreed with him, by the way, on a lot of his ideas. His clothes are unbelievable. Like they're like the cashmeres, the colors, like the whole brand principle was color. And nobody in downtown Toronto really puts the emphasis on color like he does. Like the main competitors is called Harry Rosen in Toronto, and they have a lot of inventory, Harry Rosen, but they don't have inventory in color, like in colorful jackets and things that really make a confident person stand out. If you're not confident, you're not going to wear his clothes. Besides the type of material, it's the colors. So anybody who goes into his store is going to naturally have to be a somewhat confident person, because it's hard to wear purple. It's hard to wear yellows. Not too many guys wear blues and grays, and and then finally when they get married, they wear black. But this
but they wear what they're told to wear.
They wear what they're told to wear, exactly.
And they get many more compliments.
Yeah. And they might throw on a white bow tie. Yeah, and they get many more compliments. Yeah, but yeah, his clothes are amazing. And so he told me, he said, look, when I build this website, I definitely want to show off all my clothes online in an e-commerce setting, but I want them to come to the store to try them on and really see how amazing they look in my clothes, because the photo on an e-commerce site is just not going to do it justice. Plus, I can't really afford to send out these clothes out in a package and then have them come back either damaged or they might not come back. He said they just cost too much. So we definitely built this site and made it clear that the image on the web is just there for you to decide whether you're willing to come into the store. Plus, his other point was amazing, which was when you come to the store, you get the entire experience. And he's so knowledgeable about clothing that he can guide you on how to accessorize. And people aren't buying ties as much, so you're accessorizing with pocket squares, and that's tricky. It isn't matchy. You're supposed to find contrast with your pocket squares, and so he's great at that too. It takes him 5 seconds, and he has the ideal pocket square match and things like that. Anyway, when we were talking about his website, he's another one of my clients who had a hard time with previous suppliers. So I tend to get these rescue clients. So I have to spend a lot of time at first hearing, unfortunately, the sob story. And there's a lot of crooked people in our business, unfortunately, out there in digital marketing. Anyway, we started designing, and he went out to Montreal, and he got this amazing video produced. It was gorgeous, and it basically took you on a walk through all the beautiful areas in his store and highlighted them with great music in the background. The person he was working with popped it right into the hero image. It was the first thing you saw on his website, right at the top. Fortunately, as we've all experienced, if you put an amazing video like that right at the top end of your hero image, it's going to hurt potentially hurt your speed and the way Google wants you to be able to navigate effortlessly through the website. Now, for the human eye, it wasn't too bad. Like the loading didn't take forever. It loaded reasonably fast, but for Google's levels,
Core Web Vitals.
Yeah, for Core Web Vitals, yeah, it was too slow for them, and they got hammered in terms of the Google scores, and he had to take it off. And so what the solution was, he had a whole section on the store and the look and feel of the store and the experience. And so we had to move that video to that page and just put a flat image. Actually, not a flat image. So what we ended up doing, and this is a good piece of advice for anybody in this situation, is you can set up an excellent carousel. So it gives you that moving sort of feel. It's not like a video, but it's still moving. And you can have call to actions on every frame in the video. But it was a struggle in the sense that he had spent a lot of money on that video, and he really wanted it to be at the forefront. But in the end, he had to sacrifice and move it back. I think my last conversation with him, it's working out for him. People are still coming to his store. They're starting to interact, and so in the end, it worked out okay. And Google's happy. He seems to be happy, and it's a nice lesson learned for all of us going forward.
So one of the things you brought out there. And this is the same for a client that I had, actually. Same thing, like it's this whole more than ever, I think we're seeing people use their website to drive traffic to a physical location. Mm-hmm. And I think that one, just kind of peeling that layer back, is one of the things that's important about your website. You better know what you're trying to achieve from it. So if in that instance, he's just like giving information and he's not saying anything exciting going on, then that's going to be a problem. For my client, my e-commerce client in that situation, same thing. Matter of fact, I just talked to her today, and she had like 3 events, and people could sign up, and they all sold out. People could sign up on her website. So it was super important to her that she got people there, because what happens, and there are things that we can do and did do on her website to remind people that, if you bought this, it would pair well with that. However, when people go into her store, just like you, John, the people in the store are so knowledgeable that their cart value gets way bigger to entice people to come to the store. So if their goal was, I want people to buy online, that's going to be a completely different strategy, look and feel, call to action, all of those things, than somebody who is either, hey, I just want to provide information. Another goal might be, no, I want people to buy. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want them to buy my product and we're done, right? So there's different strategies. So I think that was super important. When you were talking about the video, I would love to be a fly on the wall. Like how did you, how was that conversation when you were like, hey, I know you love the video.
That was
whatever.
That's a great question. You spend a lot of the conversation really is about praising the video for a while up front and just making him feel pretty good about the money that was spent on the video. And the truth is, it wasn't a lie. It was an amazing video. I loved it. I said, I love your video. This is great. But your long-term goals, can't be sacrificed because of this amazing video. You want people to stay on your website, and you also want Google having it, promoting it properly, and you don't want it ignored, your website. So the rules are the rules. We're all sort of subject to Google's rules, and they hold all the cards. So you have to adjust accordingly. He was good. He was good after that, because he understands the ends justify the means. I mean, basically, he knows what he wants in the end to get a real presence online. He didn't have it before. It was all walk-in traffic. The problem is, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this in your regions, But COVID, he was in one of the major downtown centers where all the lawyers, like in a major building, major shopping area, in the business district. So where there are a lot of lawyers, and a lot of investment bankers and so forth. So people with money who can afford to buy the clothes in his shop. The problem was COVID made it a desert. Like there was nobody there anymore, and so online was the only option to help build his brand and help people understand, how amazing his suits, his jackets, etc. All of his clothing line is unbelievable, and it's not like when you go there, you're not buying Hugo Boss and other brands. You're buying his brand, so everything's curated by him. He is the brand, basically. It was a good conversation in the end, and he's a super nice man. So it was easy to get through it. Now, if you guys had like, I know Kelly, I mean, I think you had an e-commerce site with
oils and balsamics. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Jim, I think you have one as well. I don't know if you guys have any tips you can share on some of your e-commerce experiences, because that's a different kind of website. It's a different things you're looking at producing.
Again, I actually did too. Well, actually, I didn't do that one. I did SEO for an e-commerce site, right? And so SEO for e-commerce is kind of interesting. It's just different. It's very different, because what happens is you now start to look at, it's not blog intensive. It's still content. And this is something we've talked about before, the importance of content. And I'm going to say what might supersede content is context.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The proper context behind the content. So here's the difference. So, and I talked to you about the oils and vinegar person who her goal, don't get me wrong, was also to increase online sales. And we absolutely did that, but also to get foot traffic back in her stores. Mm-hmm. So she was trying to get found so that people would buy online, but also be aware of some of the fun things she was doing in her community. But if you weren't in the community, please buy by all means, right? And so the other company was actually a health care company that did supplements and vitamins, and so when you're trying to show up for that company, it's all in the description. But also Google, you got to be careful of the promises that you make from a Google perspective. So in some ways, these things become more intense because we're the people who know what you kind of can say and can't say. And these things change all the time. So if I'm looking for a weight loss supplement and people are like, well, why didn't mine come up? Well, let's see what you did. Are you promising them things that you can't substantiate? Are you using specific words? They're words that Google doesn't like. Like in here, John, like you can't say certain products names. Like you can't say Ozempic. You can't say like unless you are Ozempic, right? There's certain things, and so when you're talking or deciding who you want to partner with, it's important to know that they have that knowledge to show up or to get you to show up. So e-commerce is its own animal. It's also, to me, e-commerce starts and ends with which platform you decided to go with. Honestly, like Shopify and WooCommerce are the best in the business right now. They just are. And so you got to figure out, Woo is a bit more expensive than Shopify.
Yeah, it can let you. That's a good point you bring up, because my client, he went with Shopify because he had it before, but in the end, because he does a lot of things custom, WooCommerce is the better choice if you're going to customize all over the place. Shopify is great, but they have a mold, and they basically want you to fit their mold on every front. Plugins, you name it. Shopify's tough that way. If you don't want to be confined to their boundaries, WooCommerce is the better choice.
Or have to buy a lot of apps, right? So that's what we found is that if they wanted more customization, it meant now we got to buy more apps. And if we had known about that on the front end, then maybe Woo, to your point, might have been the better choice.
How about you, Jim? Do you have any clients on the e-commerce side of things?
I do. I mean, the one that comes to mind is a wine shop. So they have to be careful because they can't sell across state lines and those kind of things. So they can't ship wine, but they have the T-shirts and the glasses and all that kind of stuff. It's almost a different persona or a different target that they have for the wine shop because they want people to come in and buy wine. They want people to come in and drink the wine at the shop. They have a great outdoor patio. They have live music. They actually rent or purchased. I don't know if they purchased or rented, but they have like a space for comedians to come in, like a little theater. And so they made it become a place to go to as opposed to just a wine shop. And so we had to really change the website based on that. So it was more about that than it was really the e-commerce part. The e-commerce part is less than 5% probably of their revenue. But the website, she bought the business from an older gentleman that was in the business and he wanted to retire. And so she brought a lot of energy. And so the website that they had was old fashioned and we needed to kind of hoop it up a little bit and make it more client focused. I've talked about it before, but in Lake Geneva, it's a resort town. So the folks that live around there, sure, they go there, but the people that she really generates her income from drive from the Chicagoland area up there. Mm-hmm. So either up on vacation, they go up for the day, they go up for the weekend or whatever. And so it's strange you have to really design the website and all that kind of stuff based on people traveling into that area. So when people are searching, they're probably sitting in a Chicago suburb searching. And so it makes it a little different and you want to cater to that. And I mean, it sounds silly, but I think I've said it before, but there's more Bears fans, Chicago Bears fans than there are Green Bay Packer fans, and you're in Wisconsin. Yeah. So, it makes it different. And you really have to make sure that you understand that. Otherwise, and you don't want to alienate the locals because they're going to bring you business when the weather's crummy or off season or that. But I've noticed, especially after COVID, more and more businesses are leaning into kind of those fringe seasons or off seasons and trying to have more events and more things to bring more people into the towns. And it helps everybody's business when they do that. And, it's kind of like when they have Tuesday specials because no one goes in on Tuesday. So you have a special, more people come in. We really focused on the right client. And we found that, like those gifts that are e-commerce and stuff, those are the people that were there, really had a great time. And they go back home an hour away and can't drive back up to buy that T-shirt or that really cool wine glass they saw or whatever. And so they can order it online. So it's kind of not an afterthought, but it's almost an afterthought. But nonetheless, it's important. And so you want to offer that up because you don't want them to say, next time I go up, they'll get it, but then they forget or they don't go back up for a while. Right. And you don't want them going to another store finding it, right? So you want to at least have it as easy as possible. So that's kind of what we did for them.
And that wraps up another episode. My name is John.
This is Jim.
And I'm Kelly. Thanks for joining. Hey, don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in to Why Your Business is Invisible Online. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do us a favor and subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple. Be sure to share it with other business owners who might find it helpful. If you want to dig deeper, contact us at ruinvisibleonline.com. That's capital letter R, capital letter U, followed by invisibleonline.com. Or message us on our LinkedIn business profile with the same title, Are You Invisible Online? The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and may or may not reflect the official policy or position of WSI Corporate. Always consult a qualified digital marketing expert before making significant changes to your online strategy. Until next time, Keep connecting with the people who matter most to your business and join us for our next episode.